Hi, how you doing? So this is number 2 of my writing a book series, which is obviously a very long time after number 1. There is a reason for that, which I kind of explained in the previous video, but that's because the videos that I was making for the free game reviews took up so much time, or so much of my productive time that I have available, that I just wasn't able to buckle down and get writing. I have time now, but writing a book, not so much yet. It's been interesting and difficult because writing a book's not that easy. Even when you have a really solid idea and story in your mind, which I kind of do, man, it's work. It's definitely work. So to give you an update on my writing a book, I have not been writing a book. The book writing is stalled at 30,000 words, and I've kind of decided to take a different approach to learning how to write, because I'd really need to learn how to write. Having a sort of epic story in mind that might stretch to a few 100,000 words, not just a single book. I think it might be better to learn at a sort of more compact, more easily written and more easy to get feedback on format. My issue is that while I have the big scenes in my mind, as if I've seen a film with those scenes in, the bits in between where I don't have a clear view in my head of what's happened or what's going to happen, I'm finding those difficult. Finding the bits that link them difficult to write. There's a scene where a very important instigating event happens. I have to get characters there. That's, for me, quite difficult. I don't think I'm used to having to set things up. Well, I'm not, obviously. I've never written anything before that's a significant story, not since I was at school. So I'm not used to doing the setup. I had a naive idea, kind of. I don't know why I had this, but that it wasn't as sort of mechanical and carefully planned out as actually writing a book is. A character doesn't have the traits they have just because they have them. They have them because they're probably going to be important to the story, or because they're there to hide the importance of that important trait, amongst others. So there's mystery and you're not sure which one it is. It's not telegraphing what's going to happen. That's taken a little while to change my viewpoint on how stories should be written. I'm now at the point where I understand the need for setup. In fact, to the point where I've changed significant things about the story because I've written something that's going to happen later on in the story, realised that it doesn't work and hasn't been set up, and had to change stuff. The characters have gone from 14-year-olds to 16-year-olds because things that happen later in the story don't make sense if they're that young. So they've aged 2 years in no time at all. That's fine. I'm getting there. The slow setup, though, what I would call boring bits of, they're not even exposition, they are just manoeuvring things. I'm struggling with that. I don't know which bits are not important. I don't know which bits, I'm not sure which bits you just don't care about as a reader. So, rather than push on with what's probably going to be like a 120,000 word book, which is like the first part of the story in my head, I'm writing a short story. I've been out to sort of sit in the garden and I had an idea for a story, so I've developed that a bit and started writing it. And the bits of setup and just dialogue to establish stuff, I've decided I need to get past this block that I'm getting. So I've actually just written plot points out in my document so that I can remove them as I actually write that part. And I have an idea of where this story is going and what needs to be set up. It's kind of working. I'm about 3,000 words into it. I have a clear plan of all the plot points and some of the things that need to be set up, so I'm doing that already. One example is a character is going to have a medical emergency. I'm about to introduce that person. I'm introducing them as having issues with just moving around. Like they're going to be out of breath after small exertion. I'm hoping that's not too much of a telegraphed setup for later on. It's there. I'm not going to make too much issue of it. Hopefully it'll work. My hope for the short story is that I get it done way quicker. I can get it into people's hands to read. Well, or on their PC probably. And I can get feedback on it. I can actually see how well or not my writing's working. See how I need to change and implement that into the book. When I get to the point where I've had some feedback, been able to make like a second draft or something like that, I'm probably going to do an audio book on this channel so that anyone that listens to it, however many people that might be, maybe, if you don't mind, give me constructive feedback on it. Don't tell me it's rubbish. It might be rubbish. Tell me why it's rubbish, please. So I can make the next thing less rubbish, or actually make that thing less rubbish. That's the plan. So I've not stopped writing. I've also written some stories for my nieces. They wanted more stories. I've done a couple. I've got one more to do that we've had ideas about. But it's really clicking with them. They actually visited recently and created little pictures of the characters' companions. So that's going into the next video, obviously. The writing's still happening. I am trying to improve. I'm trying to learn how to write. So if anyone can give tips on how to push past those kind of blocks that I've certainly encountered, where it's just so hard to write something that I'm not picturing in my mind already. Yeah, hints, tips, greatly appreciated. Now, if anyone else is writing, learning to write, in the process of writing a book, please do leave a comment on any issues that you're having. I'd be really interested to know. I'm going to probably encounter them at some point myself. My journey of writing is like right at the beginning, and I'd be interested to know what potential roadblocks might be coming up. If anyone's got solutions to roadblocks that might be coming up, let me know. Let everyone know. It'd be great. It'd be lovely to share and help everyone improve. More books, more better, right? That's it from me for this one. Thanks for watching. Thanks for reading. I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.